Manchester United 1, Manchester City 4. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wavy Baller Hub. I'm your host, Temi. If this is your first time watching with me, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow the movement that is the Wavy Baller Hub. Doing this post-match reaction, obviously, it's going to be a tough one because I'm pissed off. Very disappointing loss, very frustrating. These players, man, I don't have the words for how embarrassing they are. Ugly Bear says embarrassing. That is true. We are shit. It's that simple. That is also true. Manchester City are just way better than us. Funny enough, I have a Manchester City fan who's going to be joining us right after this game. Also, Suyash, who was with me last week on the post-match reaction, will be joining me as well. So be on the lookout for him. But yeah, real quick, guys, before I bring in my guests, I just want to, just get the share my thoughts. Really embarrassing second half. I thought the first half, I liked what we did tactically. I thought if we had defended better, we would have been in a much better position. I'm so disappointed in Victor Lindelof. I'm so disappointed in Harry Maguire. But more disappointed in Lindelof because I just think he's a better player, and he really let himself down today with the mistakes that he made. And then in the second half, it was just an exhibition match at the end of the day. It was just an exhibition match, completely underwhelming performance. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, guys. Share your thoughts in the comments with me. Smash the like button for me. Let's get this video up to 15 likes. And make my mood a little bit better. I'm gonna bring in my Manchester City guest. I know he only has a few minutes to be on the show with me, and then Suyash will come in and we're gonna, talk a little bit more United. But I'm gonna bring in Daps, guys. If you don't know who Daps is, he's the co-founder of Never a Foul, an up and coming YouTube channel. The other co-founder is my guy Ty, who I know, relatively well. Done a couple streams together. But let me bring him in real quick. He's probably gonna rub it in a little bit. But Daps, what's good? What's good, bro?
We never win at home and we never win away. MCFC, okay.
Oh
I'm
my
bubbling.
goodness.
I'm bubbling.
Oh
I'm
my
bubbling.
goodness. I can
I'm
imagine
bubbling.
you are. I can imagine you are, bro. I have my other guest with me. I'm gonna bring him in. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
bring him in.
just
Bring him in.
be just give us a little second. But Daps, real quick, bro. I'm sure you weren't shocked by that result, right?
You know what? So when I do match predictions, I never predict City to win. It's just a thing. I've been a City fan for 35 years, and like the song says, we never win at home, we never win away. We lost last week, and we lost today. That's what we used to sing. That's what we used to be. So because I've come up through that, I never predict that we're going to win. I always kind of have this. You know what? If I expect the worst, I can't be let down. However, coming into this game, I predicted a City win.
Yeah.
Although it's a derby, and to be fair, anything can happen in a derby. If we're going by your form this year and our form this year, and more importantly, the fact that where we are right now, we can't lose a game. We lose a game, the Scousers get it. We can't lose a game, right? So
Yeah.
all of that for me, it was like, no, we're not losing this game. Pep will not allow us to lose this game. We haven't looked great recently. Then we scored in 4 minutes, and I'm like, yes, that is exactly what we needed. And then you fired back, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Right. Right.
I mean, look, trying to be nice to a United fan. Firstly, thank you,
No,
because I know
of
you
course,
don't
it's
want
love,
Liverpool
bro.
to. You don't want Liverpool to win the league, neither.
It's weird, bro. This is the most. I'm gonna bring in my guy Suyash. I know he's pretty pissed off.
You know what it is?
But
You lot are pissed off. Like the first. So earlier in the season, Liverpool beat you. What was it? 5 or 6-0, yeah.
what was it? 4, 5?
But
I
whatever
can't
it was,
remember.
then you lost 2-0 to us, and the display against us probably pissed you off more than the display against Liverpool. And again,
Yeah.
today, not based on your first half. First half, you looked, based on your second half, you're probably pissed off again because of your display in the second half and the players that are wearing your shirt.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue too much, Daps. Suyash, what's going on, bro? I know you're not happy. Daps, we're gonna keep Daps for about 5 to 10 more minutes, and then Suyash will have a Manchester United discussion. But Suyash, what did you feel about the game overall? And you know, I know what you're thinking. I want you to verbalize it though. Just try your best here. Try your best to verbalize this. The best way you can.
Um, if I had a wish to be Ralph's second for a game, then I would have probably choose this game.
Right.
And then, because we've been banging about for weeks that this team is very thin through the middle,
Right.
and you cannot do that when you don't have possession of the ball, especially.
Right.
Um, and I feel that it was kind of suicidal to go the way we went. Yes, we
Yeah.
didn't have Ronaldo, so it should have been less of a problem. But we still went with both Pogba and Bruno,
Right.
which isn't ideal versus City.
Right.
Uh, I even
Why?
put
Hold on. Why is it not ideal against us?
because you're gonna get very little possession any which ways, and Bruno is not someone who's gonna keep possession of the ball.
Fair point. Good point.
We only had like 30% possession in the game, and even in that, I think Bruno managed to lose like 15 or 16 times the ball.
Is that for
uh,
real?
Yeah, for real. I put this tweet out after the game. So Fred and Bruno combined, they only won like 4 duels out of 22 in the game. 4 out of 22. It's like you're not having one man in the middle, or
Right.
even just
Yeah.
not having two players
Yeah.
in the middle. So
Look,
City was constantly playing through us, um, easily, without even getting a fight. It's like having boys in men's sport. I
this,
put
Right.
that line
you know
out.
what? You know what? This is it though. This is, and this has mainly been the derby for the last 10 years. The company spoke on it on Rio's channel. He said that we look forward to playing United because athletically in the middle of the park, we're just so much better than them. And it is that it's not coincidence that KDB, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva all got rested on Wednesday. They all got rested, yeah. Because it's go back to the first game. We won it in the middle of the pitch. Admittedly, today, to be fair, I actually think Grealish and Foden, and obviously De Bruyne was very, very, very good in the first half.
No,
But
of course. No
Grealish
question.
and Foden were really, really good today.
Mhm.
Rodri had a bad game, to be honest with you. Rodri had a bad
Yeah.
game. But
So Daps, it's interesting. Like Suyash just, or like you just mentioned, excuse me, the difference in quality between our midfield and your midfield, right? And me and Suyash, we talk about this. We've talked about it in spaces. We've talked about it together on the show about how important Matic is. I know he's older. I know that
no,
it's a different ball game. But I'm telling you, if he was in this game, it would have been a different proposition for you guys.
Listen,
If we had dropped Bruno and we had played Matic in that transitional moment, those key moments where City, swarm on you.
Yeah,
You need
yeah.
someone who has the ability to
It's what we
play
do.
through that, and I know that your players are better, but I think
Temi,
tactically
Look,
go
the
ahead.
thing
Suyash.
is, well,
it's not even the name Matic. It's just having that one body in the middle extra. Because we've been saying we only get 4 central players that are defensively there.
Right.
We need at least 5. We need at least 6. But it's always just 4. Scott McTominay, Fred, and Maguire and Lindelof. Those 4 are not enough. And then on top of that, we know Fred is very weak in terms of physicality, and players will just go past him like he's not there. So that's just having 3 players in the middle. Yeah,
you know
sorry,
what
go
it
on
is,
that.
right? So there's 2 things on this. Firstly, to talk on Matic, yeah, I agree with you 100%. And we have to go back and remember Matic was part of a very dominant Chelsea team and got Player of the Season 2 years in a row, right? Playing the actual DM role. He's the only DM you lot have, right? And that's why when people talk about Declan Rice, I'm like, whoa. You need a DM. Declan Rice, best position is not a DM, right? Matic, I get he can only play one game on, one game off, but he is your only DM. The way you get the best out of Pogba is by playing with an actual DM. So that's on Matic. I think that's true.
Yeah.
But secondly, the way we play, especially against Man United, but against everyone really, we as we transition, we push the ball up. Our left and right back basically move into midfielders, right? Rodri pushes up and pretty much just sits there. But then also you got Stones and Laporte who can also do that as well. So all of a sudden you're pinned in your own half. Every time you win the ball back, you've got about 4 City players on you trying to get the ball back in 5 seconds. We all know that is how. If you have Matic, he'd be that one player that would know how to hold the ball up, not let City get it back, and then transition, right? And this is the thing. I mean, today what we saw Foden, we saw De Bruyne out-muscling all of your midfielders. Even your defenders were just getting out-muscled.
Yeah. Let's get in the comments real quick, guys. Really quick. Kieran says we need a total clear out gone. None of these players are good enough. Nobody can convince me we won't ever compete with City or Liverpool until they are gone. My guy Cliz Rambine Lessie says without Varane this season, we've been beaten 4-2 by Leicester, 5-0 by Liverpool, 2-0 by City, 4-1 by Watford, 4-1 by City. That's I think Samuel Luckhurst tweeted that. That is absolutely insane. And there's some people who had the audacity to, you know what? Me and Suyash are going to talk about that alone. We're not gonna let Daps see us suffer like
No,
this
you know what?
for too much longer.
Boys.
I'm not gonna let this happen. I'm not gonna let this happen.
Bro. You can ask Ty, right? Look, like I said, I've been a City fan for 35 years. When I was a kid growing up in Manchester, we were awful, right? And that was the very early years of the Premier League. United was so damn good, yeah, that I can actually, like, for me, I feel I can be constructive against United. I think your fans. So, someone's gone quiet. Oh yeah, I think your fans, not all, but some of your fans settle for mediocrity and get too excited way too quickly, right?
Yeah.
I think your board is letting your club down, and the key to every single football team is if your board is not running the club correctly with the right structure, you can't do nothing. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what players you are. Doesn't matter what manager you have. If your board do not have the right structure in place, and I think Ralph is there to change that, right? I do think he's there to change that. I think people need to calm down, understand what he's brought in, where his permanent role is going to be. It's not going to be manager, but he's starting to try and get people like Elanga, people that want to win, people that want to try hard, people that. But you've got a lot. Look, Arteta had a lot to do at Arsenal, right? He's starting to do it. Arteta, he had to change the whole culture at Arsenal. Whoever comes in as your manager with Ralph by his side, they have to change the whole culture of your football club because it's been poisoned. It's actually been poisoned. Right. So it needs to change, man. I mean, look, although you talk about, or some people talk about a lot of your players, we have to be real, right? Pogba, if he's playing for a team that he thinks is challenging, is a world-class player and would get into any side in the world, right? But he has to have some motivation. Last season, when you're in the title race, he had motivation. The minute that motivation's gone, you're not going to get the same Pogba. Varane, I mean, yeah, Champions League Varane, as everyone says.
It was a big miss today. Big miss today. I think that first half, there was some moments that specifically Lindelof and Maguire, you know, there was moments where if that's Rafael Varane, there's no the second goal where Maguire just lets it run through his feet. I can't even wrap my head around that. Victor Lindelof before, you know, Maguire let that happen, gets absolutely embarrassed by Foden. You know, it's just there was just those key moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Maguire's an interesting one. What happens with him? Like, because I obviously they're letting him run out the season as captain, but. He's an interesting one. Is he going to get replaced? Could Harry Maguire be a better player if someone just takes the damn armband off of him so he can concentrate on defending? I don't know, but maybe. But he's an interesting one for me because everyone thinks that Lindelof's a better defender than him. So
no, he is. Now people think that after years. I've been saying this literally since the beginning of his United career. He's not good enough. But real quick, Dax, I'm gonna let you go. And I'm gonna let. First of all, I appreciate you. Thank you for hopping on. Hopefully, I can have you again. Hopefully, I can have you again on the show in a different capacity.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, man. 100%.
Yeah,
I'm not on here to slander Man United now. I'm happy. But to be honest with you, although the derby win means a lot, what is more important to me right now is we're still keeping the jump on Liverpool. That's the most important thing for me.
Respect, bro. Thank you, Daps. And guys, Daps' information is in the video description, so make sure to follow his Twitter. Make sure to follow Never a Foul. Both of those links are in there. Never a Foul, great channel. I watch it. Make sure to support Daps as well. And Daps, I'll see you soon, bro. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining the show. Suyash, was so much for us to unpack. There's so much for us to unpack. Shout out to Daps for showing love again. It was hard. I was supposed to have him for the pre-match, the preview show on Friday, but I had to cancel, unfortunately. Now we can talk football. So yeah, let's talk the way we talk. Okay. I'm gonna start from the beginning, and I'm gonna start with the tactical setup. I liked the tactical setup, even though I was upset and frustrated with the way Matic wasn't in the side. When I first looked at the first, like right before the goal, the first goal, I said, you know what, this is. Get around this. Pogba was playing as the striker. Bruno was playing as they were just rotating. It was essentially a 4-4-1-1, right? And then Bruno and Pogba are just kind of alternating, right? We had the structure in terms of Elanga and Sancho, and our center backs let us down. Let's be real. Our defense really let us down today. Let's talk about that. What did you feel about that defense today? Poor.
Yeah, individually not good enough. Even though I backed Lindelof today, wasn't a good game for him.
Right.
But even before it got to the defense, I like to see where it starts. And City was just easily going through. So we had two units. One was pressing high up, which was engaging with their backline. The other was just retrieving back. So the gap between those two units was too big. So City, after they've gone past our first group of pressers, they have so much space in the middle, and then they were combining like 2 versus 1 on the side or on the middle. Like, it was way too easy for them.
Yeah.
And immediately getting onto our defense, and it should not happen. Yes, defenders made mistakes. Midfielders also were not good enough. And yeah, we were missing one player, as per me, like one player extra in the middle. But still, pressing the way we pressed and the way a press was getting beaten easily, like when we know that is happening, I feel that we should have probably reduced it and gone to a more pragmatic block,
Right.
rather than this one block pressing high, the other unit just retrieving.
Right. And you're making great points about the tactical setup. Let's look at the comments real quick. With McFred, Manchester United beat City 3 times last season. Our midfield isn't the issue. The issue is Bruno. We'll talk about that. Matic wouldn't have changed the result. Let's be real here. Half of our squad are terrible. I think Matic would have helped out. I'm not saying we would have won the game. City, no matter even if Matic plays, City still have a better team.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it's not just Matic or the player per se. It's just having that one extra person. So when two players are going, getting attracted to the wide area, you still have one person in the middle. What was happening is, even in the first goal, you see it. So Lindelof goes wide because Busaka and Mctominay are not able to deal with it, which leaves us only with Maguire and Telles in the middle. Maybe having Matic would have had that third man in the middle. So
Right.
I'm not saying necessarily this helps you prevent all the goals.
Right.
But so many times you can do this without losing that man in the middle, and
Right.
we just didn't have that.
Right. So again, I think that for us, it's a challenge when it comes to this whole tactical setup, debating who needs to be playing, who doesn't need to be playing, who needs to be involved, who doesn't need to be involved. Ugly Bear says, Summer clear out, Telles, Dallo, AWB, Maguire, Matic, Jones, by Bruno, Ronaldo, Greenwood. This is never happening in a million years.
It's not realistic.
Yeah, not realistic at all. But to the topic of Bruno Fernandez, and you heard me say, I think it was yesterday, Suyash, I said I wanted him to play false 9. He did play. He essentially played as a striker today, but he was so poor. I just thought he was so poor today. I can't really wrap my head around. There was moments in the game where he had the opportunity to play those balls that he's known for. There was a ball in the second half to Elanga that he overhit. There was a couple crossfield balls that were easy, not difficult. The quality wasn't there. Paul Pogba was the only one holding the ball up. He was, as a striker, hey, that wasn't a bad job. In my opinion, for somebody who's not a striker, his hold-up ability is better than Ronaldo's. Honestly, from that the little bit we saw today, he held the ball up relatively well. He laid the ball. I thought Pogba was decent today. I just don't think he had the opportunity, as much opportunity as you like. But let's talk about Bruno real quick. What do we do with Bruno in terms of how we play him? When is the right time to utilize him? I just can't. The hero ball aspect of his game is so detrimental to us right now. I can't even put it into words. So I'm going to need your help to do it for me, Suyash. Please, please help me.
It is simple for me, but it is very difficult for the fan base to accept. And I'm not doing this purposely. It's not. I don't hate the player. I'm not trying to be edgy or controversial. Bruno in big games, he suffers because he has the problems that you cannot have in a big game. Is like we do not have, like you mentioned, not passing it when it is not making the right passes, or making the right passes but the execution is off. Just in terms of not winning enough duels, so physically he's not strong, not keeping the ball. So basically you're losing the ball, but the same player is not able to win the ball back for you, which is a twofold problem. And then you're not good in tight spaces, which means you're not able to go past players when the space is cute, it's narrow. So in the big games, I'm sorry, like we shouldn't start Bruno. And I'm not saying that he's a rubbish player. I'm just saying you can probably use him in the second half when the game starts to open a bit more, but not from the start. Like from the start, like right now we have Pogba, right? But even after Pogba leaves, I would start Donny in the big games because Donny would is at least neat on the ball. He may not make as many mistakes as Bruno.
Right.
Yeah, or maybe just an extra player instead of Bruno if we do like a 4-3-3, kind of
Right.
like how Liverpool set up, where none of the midfielders are creative. They're all just solid defensive midfielders.
Right. Ugly Bear says I'd sell Bruno. We would get about 80 million. Use that to rebuild. There's not one club. There's not one club that would buy Bruno Fernandez for 80 million pounds. That's never ever happening. Real Madrid wouldn't do it. Manchester City wouldn't do it. Liverpool wouldn't do it. Atletico Madrid wouldn't do it. Like, this is the issue. You know, people say we need to sell Bruno. Bruno's not on the market. No one's calling Manchester United saying I want Bruno Fernandez. No one is doing that. Is Everton, like, who is calling? Seriously. Marcus Rashford, same thing. He came on today. What did he do? Nothing. Who people are saying we need to sell Rashford. The issue is we can't sell these players.
And commercially, Rashford has become
He's making
way
up so
bigger.
much money. Yeah, Marcus Rashford is a cash cow. That's why he's in this side. You know, I don't. We'll get into the players. We'll get into the players, and we'll do our player rating show. I know. Me and Suyash, we're not in the best mood, but guys, make sure to hit the like button if you're watching with me. We have about 5 or 6 people watching. Hit the like button for me. Hit the subscribe button, guys. Send somebody let me know how many likes we're on currently. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure to jump over to YouTube.com. Suyash's information is in the video description, so please follow him. Support him on Twitter. He does some great spaces during the week, so make sure to tune into his stuff. Game Badge No Turning Back says the players are the problem. They are all shit. They're not playing with oneness as a team. We need to shuffle this team in the summer. I stopped watching from 3-1. I can't continue watching this shit. Yeah, no, I mean, the quality is not good enough, man. The quality. This is just another wake up call in terms of the quality level, the quality difference between Manchester United and all of the big clubs. Let's be real. Again, tactically, I can't kill Ralph today. Yes, we can nitpick. But at the end of the day, the goals that were scored, the third goal, I mean, that's just, I can't even, there's nothing I can say about that. That's just world class, and there's nothing anybody can do about that, honestly. But the first two goals are due to quality issues, right? The lack of quality in midfield to stop the initial wave. And then again, Lindelof made some big mistakes. Maguire made some big mistakes. Tellez made some big. The whole back line just really let us down today. And they haven't, honestly, the back line hasn't been the biggest issue, I'd say, this season. But today, man, oh man, it was bad. Roy Keane apparently said on Sky Sports there are 5 or 6 players there who should never play for Manchester United Football Club again. It was shameful. I mean, that's Roy Keane speak. You know, it's TV speak. I'm not gonna, after every game like this, that's what they say. But I want to. We're 26 minutes in. Let's get into the player ratings. We can talk about these players more in depth, guys. Before we get into the player ratings, make sure to hit the like button for me. How many likes are we on, guys? Please, someone let me know really quickly. Actually, I might go to YouTube.com real quick and check that out. But guys, get your thoughts in the comments. We're doing the player rating show. You guys put your, when we name a player, please comment what you would give that the score you would give said player. And And yeah, we'll get into it. Let's see really quickly. We're on 3 likes, guys. I just made it 4. Let's get to 10 likes, please. Let's get to 10 likes, please. Okay, man says, man, United should stop compromising with players. Ralph is just doing the best he knows. The players are real dummies. Fair enough. De Gea today. I will start. I'll give him a 7. I don't know what he could have done for those goals. Seriously, all 4 of the goals, he didn't do anything. And to make it to add to that, he made some really important saves. I can't give him anything less than a 7 in my opinion. I even think he distributed the ball relatively well today. I think he had like 1 misplaced pass, but what would you give him, Suyash? I know it's tough. I know it's tough because
I'd give him 6. Not.
yeah,
I was even going to go with 5, but then
really.
I had to recall, because like 5 for me is below average, and even though he couldn't do much, like he's still a goalkeeper, and we've conceded 4 goals like on just on that basis. But then I realized I have to give players 5, 4, and 3, so I have to give Davide a 6. So he wasn't the worst of the bunch, but yeah, 6.
Okay. Maybe I'm being a bit generous. I just thought a lot of the saves he made,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
they were if people example for the second goal, he made a great save, and Harry Maguire lets it run through his feet. I can't wrap my head around it. I genuinely cannot wrap my head around it. But so 6 from Suyash, 7 from me. We'll start at right back. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he has to get a 3, and that's because
3.
of that second half
That was the
performance.
exact number. Yeah.
That second half performance is just it's awful. I can't he set the tone in terms of that first from 45th minute to about the 48th, 49th minute. He was just shaky. He couldn't get out of his own way. Absolutely poor today. And so I'm guessing you said 3 as well, Suyash.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your just give me a bit of your thoughts on AWB today.
So this is why I do not stress so much on defending 1v1 defending, because it always gets mentioned that when you have Sterling you need to have AWB, because what they were doing, it kind of reminded me of how Arsenal played him once. So there was a player that was making a run behind AWB all the time, and instead of going at him 1v1 trying to dribble past him, they were passing around him. So he wasn't just there, and he couldn't like fix up. And I'm not saying it all of his is his mistake, because like I was saying, they were just coming at us right through the middle without any pressure after they had evaded that first pressure block. So but yeah, he wasn't great. And like I gave you the numbers as well. For a fullback to lose the ball so much, to not complete enough passes,
Right.
your defenders have to be the most efficient at least, because all you have to do is pick simple passes. But
Right. Yeah.
but
So
terrible.
3 from
3.
both of us. So yeah, awful performance. I'm sure Diogo Dalot will be right back in the squad. I would be stunned if he wasn't. Victor Lindelof, what would you give him? I'll start with you.
I'd give him a 4. I'll be fair, because I don't think he did enough, and a couple of times he got beaten. When he had to go out of his position, he got beaten, and then the player or the ball came inside. So yeah.
Yeah, I would give him a 4 as well. Obviously, if you've seen me and Suya speak before, we're big fans of Victor Lindelof, but this channel we're honest. I'm not here to I don't do favoritism, right? I don't care. He was poor today. And that 4, I'm being a bit generous only because I think that his second half performance, albeit we weren't that good, was better. But what he's doing for the first goal, I can't wrap my head around it still. I know that Fred and McTominay weren't and AWB weren't doing a great job at, handling that right hand little, passage of play. But to go around, I still can't wrap my head around it. He jumps, he runs out of position. I really don't think he needs to run out of position, because there's 2 men on, I think it was Bernardo Silva and Grealish, if I'm not mistaken. And he almost goes around the Manchester City player, and obviously there's still 2 men in front. Bernardo Silva gets the ball off, and it's just an easy goal. I can't. It's unforgivable. And then the second goal, Foden just does him dirty. He jumps in early. Foden nicks it above him. We still have an opportunity to clear it, granted, and I think the defending afterwards was really bad too. But damn, I mean, come on, Victor. I'm expecting much better for you. Harry Maguire, 4. I mean, I'm gonna give him a 4 as well. He's just not a Manchester United. He's not a Manchester United quality starter. I don't know how much I have to say this. It's not hate. It's not hate. It's not just he's just not. Look at the level of the City center backs. I'm not even joking. City have 4 or 5 center backs. He's really not better than any of them. He doesn't do anything particularly much better than an Ake or anything like that. A Stones, a Laporte. These are their backups. These are their backup center backs. They don't, you know what I mean? People, there was so much hype coming into Harry Maguire. I think a lot of fans wanted to believe in him, wanted to, give him that benefit of the doubt that he is a top center back because we spent so much money on him. But he's not to the standard. I'm so sorry. Suyash, please talk about his performance for me.
I was going to give him a 5, just being fair. I only feel that marginally he was better than Lindelof. Even though in general I don't rate him higher, because he did block a couple times, and maybe my memory is not great because I would like to forget this game so easily. I wish, and individually, like I cannot remember because I was not. I feel like maybe after the second goal, I didn't concentrate on the game so much. So yeah, 4, 5.
Yeah. Let's we'll move on. I mean, it's so disheartening that we spent so much money on that player. Waste of money, says K Banj. Maguire is beyond a 0. Funny stuff there. But it is what it is. Left back Alex Tellez, I'll give him a 5. Right, I'll give him a 5. Maybe I'm being harsh. I think that defensively, you saw it. People are saying, "Oh, Riyad Mahrez does that to everyone." He doesn't do. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league, no question. But I think that people say, "Oh, we need Tellez for his crossing." I can't remember one cross of note. I can't. You know what I mean? Against big teams, you're not going to have time and space on the ball to whip in crosses from 30 yards out, 40 yards. It's just that's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. So I'm going to give Tellez a 5 today. He was definitely not one of the worst players by any means, but again, I think his defensive frailties were very evident in this game.
Yeah, same. Wasn't as bad as Arman Busaka, but yeah, 4, 5, 5 is fair. I did remember though that he did overlap, not much, obviously because we didn't have the ball. But when he did overlap, Sancho didn't pass as much to him. Maybe he thought the players in the central had, though they were the much better options, so he passed it back to the middle when Tellez just went past him.
Right.
So, but yes, I don't know if he had enough to do on the ball. And off the ball, like I said, I think mostly things were happening on the right-hand side, as from my memory. And he was bad, but he wasn't the poorest. So 5 is fair, yeah.
Yep. All right, Alex, tell us 5. Let's get into that midfield. Scott McTominay, what would you give him?
Again, 5. I would say 5 again.
I would give him a 4. Again, and this is my issue with Scott. He's 6'3", maybe 6 foot. He's pretty much Pogba size essentially, and you can't feel him in these games. It's just I don't think he's a bad player. People. There's so many people on Twitter who are overreaction. Either way too much on one side, way too much on another side, on certain things. I don't think Scott McTominay is a bad player. I just think his self-belief in these games, I can feel it's not there. He's not looking, in a man of match, he's so confident in his ability on the ball that he's always, He's always asking for the ball. He's always wanting the ball, right? It's absolutely frustrating to see someone who is such a big stature and such a big presence never, you know, he doesn't impose himself. He doesn't impose himself. And today we needed him to get about the pitch. We needed him to, you know, make an impact when that transitional moment happens, and he's nowhere to be found. That's my big issue with him. That's my really, really big issue with him. So you said four, or you said five for Scott, Suyash?
Yeah, because I just feel that, yeah, I'd probably change it to four.
Mm,
I'll change it to four, and then
mm,
if I had to go to Fred, then I'd give him a three.
mm.
Like I mentioned, physically, it's
Yeah,
like he's not even there. It's just
like a
mm,
fly.
it's a
Literally,
fly.
that's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like a boy playing a
Yeah,
man's
with
game. That's what
exactly.
I said.
Exactly. The physical. I mean, and then the thing is, funny enough, there was a moment where I thought, okay, maybe Fred could have really early. I'm like, maybe Fred could have an impact in this game in transition. You know, he had that little interesting little run, early right before the first goal. But he's like you mentioned, physically, he's not up to standard. He's not up to standard. You know, this is Manchester United. He's a decent player. He's not a Manchester United starter. The fact that he's starting week in, week out. I keep on saying this. You know, people have complained about. I see people complaining about. There's like a new cult that like complains about De Gea every day. Like they spend their time talking about how poor De Gea is. I'm like, listen, De Gea, his distribution is poor, no question. But if you're talking about what I would literally, I'm not exaggerating. I would buy four midfield players. I'd buy four midfield players before I'd even think about replacing the keeper. That's that's how serious it is. That's how serious of a problem it is. The quality level is ridiculous. Look at Rodri. You know, Daps was saying Rodri had a poor game. I'm looking like, in comparison to who? Like in comparison to who? Our players? He looked fine to me. He looked just
I
fine to me.
I just don't get it when there's another friend, right? Chelsea fan, Amiro Sparsa. So
Mm-hmm.
the other day he was mentioning Jorginho,
Jorginho, I
Kante.
saw that.
They have been poor, and then I feel like these guys have the luxury to say these guys are poor. When we have
Yeah.
Fred and McTominay,
When you
I
have
would
nothing to,
literally take their backup midfielders for us. I'll take
yeah.
Saul Niguez. I'll take
Yes.
whoever is backup for
Yes.
their midfield.
Yes.
They have
Overall.
Kovacic, who's the third midfielder after
Yes.
Jorginho and Kante, or probably their
Yes.
first, and
Right.
Jorginho, Kante, one of them are backup. I would take their backup midfielder seriously.
Yes. Yes. It's like when you don't have too much to complain about, you know, when you don't have too much to complain about, you're gonna have to complain about something. You know what I mean? Like Chelsea players, like they just, you know, they don't have too much to complain about. So Lukaku, oh my God, Lukaku's so bad. I'll take Lukaku right now. I'm not lying. I mean, I would gladly take Romelu Lukaku right now. People are laughing. I'm deadly serious. Oh, Jorginho's not up to par. Okay, are you selling him for 30 million? I'll take him. Like, please. Are we being serious right now? Like, come on. Like, they don't I just think people don't understand how bad our situation is in midfield. I just laugh when I see, you know, a City fan complain about Rodri, or a Chelsea fan complain about Jorginho and Sal Niguez, you know, not being up. I'm like, guys, you guys just don't understand. You don't understand how bad it is. So,
They're
um,
saying they don't want to renew Kante's contract.
can you
I would take
imagine?
N'Golo Kante at 30.
Yes, can you imagine? Not you don't want to renew his contract? Oh my goodness. It's mind-boggling stuff. But let's move on to I'm gonna move on to the wide players. Jaden Sancho, what would you give him today?
Um, he was the only two decent players that did something on the pitch. So, and he also scored the goal. We didn't win the game, so that's why seven might be higher, maybe a bit too high. But yes, 7, 6
Yeah,
between that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know I think seven's fair. I would have probably said six, only because, and it's not his fault. This isn't his
yeah.
fault. The second half, he didn't really have a sniff. I can't remember any key moments where, you know, he a passage of play that, you know, he was heavily involved in. Again, it was not his fault. I think that our we let him down a ton. So Ugly Bear says Sancho 7. You know what I mean? It's a tough one. That first of all, the goal. Oh, the goal was quality. Was quality. It Arjen Robben esque. That is right from the Arjen Robben handbook. You know, he Paul Pogba plays him a really good pass. Excuse me. He isolates his fullback. I can't remember who made the overlapping run. Was it Bruno? I think it was Bruno who made that overlapping run. Takes away a defender, which was really good. Rodri overplays it. Sancho has space and time, puts it in the corner. So beautiful. And if only we had just held down if we had 15 minutes of just staying compact in that moment and making sure City do not score, I think this could have been a very different game. But I think seven's a fair score. I'll give him a 6. And he's gonna be very important for us in our future, man. He's a quality. What is he? 21, 22 years old? I don't even
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Geez, we have a lot more years of that. So guys, be on the lookout. It's a tough day, but I'm happy to see that Jaden Sancho is really coming into his own. Anthony Langa, what would you give him today?
6.
Hmm.
I because I remember him when he does try and defend. One thing that I like about him is he's able to win the ball back. Because some people we complain about players not tracking back, but there are some players who even when they track back, they are just simply passed by so easily. With Elanga, he's a bit tenacious, and he's very tough. So it's not that easy to go past him, and he does win the ball back when he tries, and he's not just doing it for the sake of it.
Right.
So
I would
6. I think he made one error. That's
yeah.
why I would not give him 7 or.
Mm.
But yeah, 6, or you could even say 5 because of the error.
Right.
But yeah, 6.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna agree with. I'm gonna say 6. I think Jaden Sancho was a bit better. I don't. Moments are important in games. 100%. I'm not underestimating the importance of moments in games. I think if we're talking about the full 90, though, I think Elanga did have some. I think Elanga had some good moments. Ugly versus 5 was a tough game for him. I think that people are going to say he had a tough game because he made that really big mistake. He did make a big mistake. That ball out that he tried to play under pressure was poor. Let's be real. I think it was it Silva who got won the header, and that's what led to the second goal. So yes, that was a young player's moment. He should have, if he wants to knock it long. I think he got a little too confident. He tried to dink it. I think he tried to dink it to was it Paul? Or I can't remember who he was trying to dink it to, but he got a little too overconfident. The quality wasn't there. And then, we conceded. But other than that, he was a good outlet. I think he's really good in tight spaces too. Like I noticed that a lot this game, especially early on in the beginning. He's playing ball. He's playing off of Paul. Paul's playing off of him. And, there was little good moments that I saw. Like he's going to be, if he continues to improve and like, he didn't feel out of place in this game for me, right? I didn't look at Elanga today and say, yeah, he's the sore thumb, right? He's like the, you know what I mean? He felt like a part. He felt like a part, so hopefully, he can continue to improve. This is a good first season for him, in terms of learning and his, and understanding the importance of playing in big games like this. I think he's getting better and better. And he's getting more confident in each game. So, yes, not the best game in the world for him, but I think he has a lot left in the tank. Now, let's talk about the two strikers. Bruno Fernandez, what will you give him?
I was preparing myself for Pogba, but
Yeah.
Bruno, I have to be fair. I said Fred 3, right? I'll say Bruno 3. I feel him and Fred, like, just like I was mentioning earlier, they just get out muscle. What I hate about him is when he loses the ball in deep areas, and that immediately gives the opposition an attack. He even gave Leeds a goal today as well. They stole the ball off him, and then they made and then he's crying for a foul, or he's down asking for a foul, but the play just goes on. Instead, he could probably get up and try and defend.
Yeah.
So it does bother me. So it could have been 4, but I'm gonna be fair and say 3 because him and Fred for me
Equally as
really
poor.
poor.
Yeah, no, I think Bruno was poor today. I'm gonna give him a 3. Um, I think it's he's such a polarizing player. I can't. There's sometimes it's hard for me to articulate what it is about Bruno. He's a good player, but is he good for a team that's trying to win major trophies? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves, because there can be two things can be true. Two things can be true. People have complained. I know Manchester United fans have complained about Paul Pogba since he's entered this club. He hasn't hit the heights he was supposed to hit. He hasn't scored the goals, blah, 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 blah. You know, Bruno has scored goals. He's made assists. We haven't won anything. We haven't won anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing with him in the side. At least with Paul Pogba, we can say we've won a Europa League. He was a huge, major part of that Europa League trophy. I think he was there for the Carling Cup, wasn't he, as well, if I'm not mistaken? Or the
Yeah, I
Carabao Cup.
guess.
Bruno, in these, like you mentioned, in these big games, he's a liability. He's a liability. It's people can't unmarry the performances from the stats. People see the stats and they're just, they can't let go of it. They can't let go of the fact that he's a prolific stat stuffer, right? He's a prolific stat stuffer. He's always going to do that. But are we going to win trophies with a player like this in this side who gives away the ball so cheaply? And sometimes the quality's not even there. Sometimes just the overall generic baseline quality lacks. I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
Look at Bernardo Silva today. Just look at Bernardo Silva today. I think, and then Bernardo Silva brought some. I think he said something this week, like, just along the lines of, if we lose 3-1 if I scored the goal, if I made the assist, I don't care. I don't care. He said, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have I'd rather have no goals, no assists, and I made the team play better and we won the game. Right? That's the mentality of the mentality of championship winning players. That is the mentality of championship winning players. I don't know if Bruno has that mentality. I think Bruno has the mentality of, if I get my numbers, I'm going to give my team the best chance to win. And that's not how you should be thinking. I don't think Paul Pogba thinks that way. I don't think Paul Pogba cares about his statistics, and they like him or not, but fans care about it, right? I don't think that go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, you want to finish?
No, go ahead, Suyash. Go ahead, Suyash.
So I was gonna say the difference between them is Paul Pogba enjoys his football in the sense that sometimes it is even bad. I'll be fair and say that he wants the ball too much or too long sometimes because he loves the football so much. On the opposite, Bruno is someone who wants to be in that final moment. Like, it
Right.
has to be that final pass or that final goal
Right.
or that goal all the time.
Right.
So he almost like repels the football in these games,
Right.
rather than keeping it
Right.
and releasing it at the right time. He just loses it when he shouldn't.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, Pogba loses the ball too. Like I said, his other problem is with Paul Pogba, he's not decisive and quick enough to release the pass.
Right.
But at least he's not someone who'll do something to get, like you said, get his name on the statistics. He's not that player. He plays more for he just loves having the football.
Right. Right.
Bruno, even in the interview, like one of his interviews, he mentioned that he scored a goal versus Spurs.
Right. And it was weird.
That was a 6-1 match
Loss.
where he scored a penalty, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it has got to him, like, and he posts these things on social media as well. So these goals and assists, it has actually got to him and his agent. They post these things. So I just don't get it.
Right.
If the team is winning,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yep.
But if not, no.
Right. Bruno, I'm giving a 1 in a big game like this. He should have same desire and drive as Wayne Rooney. He's nowhere near the player that Wayne Rooney was. So he can try he could run from start to finish 100% energy.
I have a problem with those two words. Our friend mentioned desire and drive. He has that,
He has
but the
that.
problem is he applies that for the wrong things.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So Rooney had ability, like he could actually physically bully someone. He could actually also, hold the ball really well. But Bruno, I'm sorry, but he doesn't have
The
a couple
ability.
of big
Yeah.
technical abilities that you need in big games.
Right. It's these are all fair points. Let's talk about Ralph Rangnick. What would you score him today? I know it was a tough loss, and I've already seen some people who have some revisionist history and said, you bringing up Ollie again. I before we even get to Ralph Rangnick, I have to get this off my chest. If you are bringing up Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer again after every single loss, after every single bad result, you are an absolute clown. I am so sorry. Do you have a bad memory? Seriously, what does your memory look like? Hey, guess what? I was at that last 2-0, the reverse fixture, the 2-0 loss. I was there, damn near pitch side. It wasn't better than this. It wasn't. It wasn't any better than this. Yes, the scoreline was 4-1. It wasn't any better than this. The week before we lost to Liverpool, was it 5-0? We lost to Watford 4-1. What is your memory like to be bringing up Ole Gunnar Solskjaer every single time we have a bad result? It doesn't make any sense to me. He was not good enough. It's okay. He's gone. He's gone, and he's not coming back. Great club legend, all of that. Great player. Not good enough as a manager. Stop bringing him up every time we have a loss. Like, do you think that, today, because, I remember people are saying, Ollie won 3 times against Pep. Oh, Ollie did or was it 4 times against Pep? Blah, 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 blah. Carabao Cup semifinal, when we needed to win it, when we actually had something on the line. What happened? First leg, 3-0 in the first half. Semifinal over. Do you guys forget these things? Like, seriously, it's embarrassing to bring up Ollie every single time a bad result happens. I'm sorry I had to get that off my chest, Suyash, but what would you give Ralph Rangnick today?
Um, I'd give him a 5 again. I think that was the average score of the team as well, the way we went. So 5 is fair because I feel, like I was saying, he got it wrong immediately when I saw the lineup. I was worried having both Pogba and Bruno, having just McTominay, Fred, Lindelof, and Maguire. So I like to count at least 5 players in the central areas, and when I see 4, especially when you're not going to have the ball, it just worries me, and it just went the way I feared and I was worried about. So, and then I don't know what the pressing instructions were, and obviously the execution was poor, but it was only like a few set was pressing, and then once they were beaten, there was no one behind them pressing. So, it was like again a gap between the first unit and the second unit, where City were able to play their game and keep possession. So.
I think you might have convinced me. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too jaded. I was gonna say 6, but I think you've convinced me to say 5. Ugly Bear says, Ralph Rangnick, I feel sorry for him. I believe Ralph is doing his best, but the players let him down. And that's how I kind of feel. I genuinely feel that those individual mistakes in those early moments are what his game plan, you essentially you have to kind of throw the game plan out of the window, really relatively quickly. I think he stuck to the plan though. I mean, I'm saying that, but I think he stuck to his plan for the most part. But the quality issues are what let us down today, not necessarily his game plan. I'm with you. I thought Matic should have started. I said it pre-match. You heard me say it on Naji's space. But even then, I saw the framework. I saw, he wanted, it was a 4-4-2 essentially, right? Well, I mean, for like, it was a 4-4-1-1, 4-4-2, whatever you want to call it. The idea was there. The idea was there, have Pogba as the outlet to hold the ball up, then we play off of him, and we got a goal that way. But it's just the quality really let him down today. I mean, and he's not going to be the full-time manager. We know that. But I think that if we have him and whoever that next manager is working in 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 tandem to get players this summer, I think we'll be in a better position than we are right now. I hope he's recognizing the players that need to just never play again. I don't want to name names. I'll be nice today. I'll be nice today, even though I really shouldn't be. But I think 5 is probably fair because of the result, right? I have to take that into consideration. I definitely have to take that into consideration. Still HD says we can only pray Ten Hag comes in and drops Maguire. Hope he can bring in Timber from Ajax, proper ball playing center back. Can even come in as a DM. I have not watched enough of Ajax to confirm or deny that, but fair play. I would Eric Ten Hag, definitely take him. Very good manager for sure. But guys, we're coming up on the hour, rounding up again. Suyash, thank you so much, guys. Make sure to hit the like button for me, hit the subscribe button. Suyash, his information is in the description, so make sure to follow his Twitter account and support him. He's going to be joining me on the channel, hopefully more and more as I'm getting more consistent here. This is always very therapeutic, always very therapeutic here. After game matches like this. Hopefully we can get on a stream where we're talking about a win eventually, right? Hopefully we can do that and it'll be a little bit more positive, guys. But go ahead, Suyash.
The only positive that we've not mentioned is hopefully what we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years, or even this season. Hopefully, after this game, Ralph sees that he cannot go with these many attackers versus Liverpool. So I think that game is postponed, but that is still there to be played. Liverpool, right. Chelsea, and even any tough game, we cannot go with this same setup.
Right, 100%. I think that he's a good manager. I know there's people trying to clown him and say that, oh, he's not a good enough manager. He's a decent manager. I'm not saying he should be Manchester United's manager going forward, but he came into a terrible situation. Players were disheartened. The manager wasn't doing his job well enough, and he's tried to steady the ship, and he's done an okay job at it. I think his value add will be high, at higher levels, and hopefully this structure that Manchester United have put in place, we just have to hope against hope. You know what I'm saying? The Glazers aren't selling the club. Let's be real about that. They're not selling the club. We're probably going to have them for as long as they want to be here. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one. This is another wake-up call, guys. It's another difficult moment, but we just have to move on. I can't remember what our next match is. I can't remember what our next match is.
Tottenham. Okay. I think it's Tottenham.
Spurs. Okay, so I think our next match is Spurs.
Next weekend.
Yep, and then we have Atletico, right?
Yeah.
Midweek. Yeah. So guys, be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow I'll be doing a Premier League review. Hopefully I can get a guest on with me. I'll try and figure out a guest to join me as I do that. But guys, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to follow Suyash on Twitter, everyone. And we will talk to y'all very, very shortly, okay? Deuces.